All right, good day, everyone, and we want to welcome you all to our webinar today. To get us started, want to just thank you for taking time with Realityworks. We are a innovative learning company that focuses on different tools within family consumer education, health science, agriculture, and welding and trades. And today we're going to be talking about our welding and trades world as we bring you and talk through the electrical wiring kit training and kind of focusing on different things that are involved with the electrical wiring kit and trying to give you some help in that world. So just to introduce myself, my name is Jamey McIntosh. I'm the product manager for all of these different products. And with us today, we have Cody Rico. He is one of our test engineers. He's going to be showing and working with us in really kind of how you can be using this in the classroom, virtually if you are still doing it in an online world, and kind of walking through some of those pieces as well. So some of the things that we'll discuss today is we're going to walk through the methodology of the electrical wiring kit. We'll explore the components of what's involved. We'll dig into the curriculum and what supplements that it can help within the electric wiring kit can help with, and then do a deep dive into the assessment kit and how it works. And Cody's going to really help us with some of the exercises and best practices as we walk through that. So a few reminders as we get started today. We do have this as a Zoom meeting. And so if you have questions, feel free to throw it in the chat or raise your hand. You can put your questions there for you as we go through here. Now, along with that, we are providing you with some of the curriculum that we're going to talk about today. So you can get this curriculum for your usage. All you need to do is go onto our website, realityworks.com. There is a place that says COVID-19 response. It says learn more. You click on that and it'll bring you into an area where we have a lot of different resources. You'll see this webinar that we're doing there in the webinar area. We also have free lesson plans for you on career exploration. And then where you're going to want to go is where it says guides and curriculum. You click on there and it's going to bring you into the different options there for all of our products. You'll want to find the trade skills area, and that's where you'll get electrical wiring free lessons there for you. So I want to start with just our EWCare electrical wiring kit methodology. So as we start here, some of the methodology behind this is that hands-on learning, the doing, the practical teaching of doing to learn. And so we know that about half of our brain focuses on processing visual information. So having this as a product, having this as a piece of your educational learning is very helpful for students to be able to visually understand what you're talking about. So there is that the knowledge of how electricity works, and then it's getting it to the hands-on learning. And part of that is because we can learn a lot faster and process things a lot faster in the visual world than when we process from text or reading or things in that world. So it's important for us to really make sure we're using that to our advantage. And we all forget what we've learned in the last month, and most of us with an hour, about 90% of the time. And so this is something where by using hands-on, by helping you visualize it, it stays with students for a longer amount of time. So I want to talk through our electrical wiring kit and what it is actually involved. So in this case here, our electrical wiring kit is made up of the wall panel. This is the actual wall panel that we have, white wall panel allowing you to be able to have it. It's a desktop model, so it fits on the desktop like where Cody is standing here today, and it's something that students can be able to manipulate and use with a lot of different welding examples here and exercises. So with it comes all the components you're going to need. So we have the wire that you can use for all the exercises. You have the light switches and the outlets and the outlet socket, all the different needs, the tape, all those things. And this is something that you can reuse. So it's something where all these different components are something you can get from a hardware store, but it is also something where It comes with the product, so then you can use that as you need. Now, in this case here, we also have our electrical wiring assessment kit. This is where what we'll talk about here in a little bit is our breakout boxes are. This is where you get that information with the assessment kit that you plug in, you do all your wiring, and then it's powered by our assessment kit and our assessment remote that gives you a light socket tester and a outlet tester, being able to show you what they did either correctly, or if they did it incorrectly, what they need to switch and change. Again, the whole great piece about this is that it's all battery operated. So there's no ability to shock or electrocute yourself when you're learning these skills with our components here. So with that said, we're going to start with the electrical wiring curriculum and talk through what is involved with the curriculum, and as we go into that world and be able to show what's all involved there. So in this electrical wiring curriculum, focusing here is really the first lesson. The whole point of this and what we are going to talk about is electrical safety. So with electrical safety, we really want students to have a good understanding of the importance of safety when you're using electrical. Now, it talks through and goes through how it is dangerous, what some problems can happen with that. It talks through things like shock, personal protective equipment, while that's important to you. It goes through the different features that are needed for the user to make sure that they are safe. So it goes through all the different kind of parts and tools that are needed to keep oneself from being electrocuted, from all the different dangers that are there, and how to make sure that they are focused on that. Now, we also have some quizzes and some abilities for safety tests to be able to help you in that world. We then get into our second lesson, and our second lesson is all about electrical principles. So when we talk about electrical principles, we are really talking about um, just what exactly is electricity and how it works. So you're going to get into things from volts and amps and Ohm's law, resistors, conductors, and we're going to get in there and teach students about all these different pieces and what exactly is involved with things of that nature. So as we go through here, it's going to talk about simple circuits. It's going to share with how they work, what the importance are they, and what's actually happening when they're doing this wiring. So it gives them that background understanding of knowing what's going on and why is it happening. Once we get there, then we also are going to focus on things like power, how you calculate power, some examples of that. You're going to go into different types of things like circuits and how the circuits work, and give them different understanding of all the different pieces that are involved in circuits and what's happening as they actually do the wiring. So this is a lot of different focuses here on kind of the side before they get the hands-on understanding why they're doing it, what they're doing. Then we're going to get into our third lesson here. And as we get into our third lesson, it's really going to focus on basic wiring skills here. And so it talks through how electricity gets to the home, what's happening as you go from the power plant to your actual home and what's actually kind of happening there. Then we're going to talk through about how the changes in volts and what is actually in your home, and really kind of get down to then the main focus that we're going to talk about today is doing the actual wiring. So we'll talk about how it gets in the home, and then from there, what do I need to do to actually start wiring? How does that work? We're talk through the different things like types of cables, wire identification, going through the different wire types, why the different wires are used for different things, how it's important to identify and to understand the different types of common wires used in your home, which is also the same type of wires and the different components that you're going to use in the classroom with this product here. And then how to do it safely. And as we see with our wall panel here, it will also go into some different tips and tricks on actually how to wire it, how to easily do that, how to do things like stripping the wire and splicing wire and working through different features of all the different components of electrical wiring. So that is all there for you. And you can see this is what I'm showing you here is actual different uh, PowerPoint slides that you get with your curriculum explaining and showing and walking through with the curriculum all these different features. Now, why is this important? Because again, what we like to show and what we're talking about here is that classroom opportunity to get a good understanding of what they're doing before you then get into the actual practice of learning and using it. So let's talk a little bit about our electrical wiring assessment kit and what is going to be used. And I'm going to have Cody help me here. Because in this case here are the different components that are included. So Cody's going to show you on the screen here our electrical wiring. It comes in a case that is our electrical wiring kit. Inside the kit then you have light socket testers. These are special light sockets that will then be hooked up to our assessment kit, assessment remote here that shows you if you did it correctly or incorrectly. And so that all comes in a case in a kit for you that you would then work with the wall panel. Now, in the light socket tester and the outlet tester, I'm going to give a close-up here. That remote that Cody has there is going to show you on the remote itself is the light socket tester. In this case, when he plugs it in, when he uses this today, he is going to be able to plug it in and it is going to show either that it is correct by giving the 2 green lights showing that, yep, he did his wiring for light socket correctly, or it's going to give a whole list of other issues that, nope, you didn't do it right, but it's going to help you by telling you, yes, you did it incorrectly, but here's what you did wrong, so you can go back and fix it. Same kind of thing with our outlet tester is that when he hooks that up and he goes through that, it will then give you those 2, the correct option. And if those lights light up, then yep, you did it correctly. If not, it's going to give you a host of different options of what you might have done incorrectly and then how to correct it. So we're going to start with, and Cody's going to start working on the different options here. And these come from our student exercises. Now, our student exercises are printable, they are reusable, and they are step-by-step. It shows what you need to do. And so just to give you a few features of this, inside here, it walks through the different types of components that are available. It walks through the key of the different types of wires and things that you're going to be using. And then as we get started here, you're going to be actually using and hooking into your breakout box. And so Cody, if you can show us where the breakout box in that unit there is, what you're going to see is that this breakout box is where it's kind of our usage of a circuit breaker box here, where you have your ground, where you have your neutral, and where you have your hot wire. That is where you're going to power it, and it's going to be powered again by the assessment kit in this case. And so the assessment kit will plug in there and you'll wire it in there, and that's where the connecting the power are going to do. So let's do some examples here. Cody, I think the first one that you're going to do is the single outlet and kind of walk through us with that one. Am I correct there?
That's correct. I'm going to start off with the single outlet one. Should be an easy one, but we'll see how this goes. And luckily I got the assessment remote to let me know exactly how well I did. So I got this wall panel right here that I can position and move around the desk. It's a lot easier working on this than an actual wall. I'll say that for sure, because you can't really move that around very easily. So to make sure I've got everything I need, I'm going to take my outlet. I've already got some 14-2 wire run from the breakout box into the single gain right here. And this is where I'm going to be wiring up my outlet here. So go ahead and following the nice easily colored instructions there that you can see on the screen that shows how exactly it should be wired up. I'm going to go ahead and follow that and see how I do.
So as Cody walks through this, and he's using the same visual that we have on the PowerPoint here, is this is our single outlet exercise. And so it will show and walk through a student, giving them this picture where you have the green wire being your ground wire and where you need to attach that. It gives you the white wire explaining that that is for your your neutral, and then your hot wire and where you need to put that. So it walks through that step by step to actually show a student what they should be doing when they're wiring this up. Now, again, it's something where he can use this exercise. And again, this is a printable exercise. You can print it out for your students. You can hand this to them. You can put it up on the overhead. You can walk through them with this as well. Now, one of the things too in a virtual world, as we live in a virtual need to train and teach in a virtual world too, this is something where as Cody is doing this, he could actually be as the instructor on a Zoom call, on a Teams meeting, showing his students how to do this, be hooking it up. He could also be doing it incorrectly and showing them how he's doing it incorrect and ask the questions of, what am I doing correctly? What am I doing incorrectly? Did you see any problems I had that I should have been doing something different? He could also position where he's getting a close-up view of the box itself and showing where from the exercise that he has, and then looking at the light or the plug in there and saying, am I doing something? Do they match? And working through that. Another option here is, as he puts this in place, is we also sell this product where you can get additional wall panels by themselves without the assessment kit. This can allow you to have multiple wall panels and still be able to use one, or maybe you get two remotes, and allowing you to be able to have students be doing these exercises and then sharing the remote, the assessment remote. So students could actually bring this home, allow them to work on it for a day or two, and then bring it back into school, showing that they are understanding and being able to do that. So looks like, Cody, you're getting close to having that all wired in. I'll let you take it over and show how you then would use the assessment kit.
All right, so I go ahead and I've wired up my outlet here with the wire coming from our breakout box. So we'll go ahead and take our remote as well as the included wires. Just testing the outlet. I'm only going to need the outlet tester wire and the breakout box connection wire. All right, so firstly, go ahead and hook these up. Then goes into the breakout box and then into the remote. And they're go ahead and they're labeled at the top here. It tells you exactly which one connects to where. And they're all different wires as well, so you can only plug it into the correct one. Then I'll go ahead and plug in the actual outlet straight into our assessment remote as well. And so now I can go ahead and turn it on, and it looks like I did something incorrectly. So actually what I can do here is zoom in here so you can actually see what the assessment remote shows. So if you look there, you'll notice down here that I have these 4 lights lit up. I don't have the 3 green lights, which would signify correct. Instead, I have these 4 lights. So what I'm going to do is I have to look on this chart that's included on the remote. And from there, I can look to see exactly what I did wrong. And if I read it here, it looks like I have my neutral and ground terminal miswired. And so just by looking straight at this chart here, I can instantly tell exactly what I did wrong, and I can go in there and get it fixed up. So that's just
Okay, thank you very much.
So you can get quick, easy results just like that.
Awesome. And thank you, Cody. And so I put this back up on the screen so you can see here is that, like he said, is that those lights light up, and he had done it incorrectly there. So then he can look and say, oh, this was the problem, or this was the issue that I needed to do. And you had said, Cody, the neutral and the ground terminals were miswired. Is that what you had said?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so in that case, it came back showing the neutral and ground wires, so he can go back, and he doesn't have to focus on the hot wire right now. He can go back and he can say, okay, that's the problem, and so I need to go and look at that and understand that. All right, so with that one done, let's give another chance here for Cody to do another one for us and kind of show us how that works as well. And so I am going to share again. We just did the single outlet. That was the first exercise. We're going to jump to exercise 3. And exercise 3 is a single pole switch controlling one light. And so in this case here, this is now a little bit more difficult in the sense that he's now having to do a light switch and also a the light itself. And so adding 2 different components to this. And this is something where as he starts doing this, what you'll see is that as we go in our curriculum and with our exercises, the exercises continue to get more difficult. So what started with the just making sure you can wire an outlet, now we add some nuance to it, some more options for you, more places where you might make a mistake. So it becomes a little bit more difficult. You have to do a few more steps in this process. And as you go forward, I'm going to show you exercise 8 here while he's working on that. Exercise 8 then shows a switch in a double gang box with a light in another box. And there's power from the light. So in this case here, we added more. So from 1 exercise, 3 exercise, this is exercise 8, we are adding new things to it. And by doing that, it becomes more difficult. And so what might take some of your students with exercise 1, 15 to 20 minutes to do, you now go to exercise 2, 3, 4, and so on. It starts to become a longer, more drawn out exercise and experience, making sure that they work through this. So again, that time on task, the ability to use this then increases as you go through this. So as Cody is doing this then, he is also now going to be using different types of tools, different types of componentry to make sure that he's doing it correctly. He is changing out wire. He's having to add wire. He's having to put in different components to it and making sure it's all connected correctly. So that's all part of this curriculum as well. Now, another side of this in that virtual world, as he's doing this, one of the things that you may want to do and work with your students on is just that, is as I am showing you this PowerPoint slides, is walking through and talking through, okay, what's happening in this scenario, in this exercise, and then talking to you, where are some issues that could arise? What could be some problem or pain points that come up? Maybe it is connection points. Maybe it's how do you want to actually do this ahead of time, so then as you wire it through and you go into the gang box, what the double gang box that you're using, what is it that you are going to wire first, second, to make sure that it's not a jumbled mess inside. And so walking through some of those pieces in a virtual world, having, like I said before, Cody being able to show what he's doing. And in some cases, like his first one, he was able to show, hey, I did it incorrectly, and being able to show some of that. What did I do wrong? How would you then fix those problems? Other ways you can do it is to show, hey, this is the correct way to do it, all right, and walk through them and go through each part of that. And what I want to talk about before why Cody works on and gets this next one up is our other exercises that are included. So like we are doing right now, we're on exercise 3, a single pole switch controlling one light. We also have different ones. And again, you can see as you get farther and farther along, it becomes more and more parts and pieces that they have to walk through and work through. As we go to lesson 6, 7, 8, you start to see that it becomes more different types of electrical wiring and a different componentry in there as well. All the way as we get to a higher number 11 here, you start to see things like a 3-way switch, different lighting, different options there as well, and going through some of that. So what I have on the screen here right now is just, again, there are 16 different exercises. 12 of them are what we would say your more known or understood wiring in a residential situation. Then we also have 3 enhancement exercises that give a little bit more kind of option to you at a little higher level in that world. And so Cody, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm just going to check in with you how you're doing there and kind of just let you explain what you've been working on right now.
Sure. So we'll get here, just about finished wiring this up. I'll go ahead and put this switch fully back into the outlet box here. And basically what we did is just a single pole switch connecting to an outlet. And that just has the neutrals tied together and the hot going through the switch. And that's the part that's broken and turned on and off. Once I get this fully installed here in this box, I'll be able to get up and go. And as you can see, this wall panel has several different, we got a double gain here, 3 different single gains, and some light enclosures up top. So you can wire it up for multiple different scenarios, even at one time. If kids are taking the wall panels home, they can do multiple scenarios at once, and then they can get it checked when coming back in. So first thing I do is I already went ahead and installed our light socket tester into this single box here. We'll just zoom in a little bit so we can see.
Could you flip that around there? There you go. Yeah. Because that is a great point. So that is a special light that we have that allows you to hook right into our assessment kit, so then we can assess if you wired that correctly. So sorry to interrupt you, Cody. Go ahead.
Oh, yep. So go ahead and we will plug in our outlet to the breakout box into our assessment remote. Then I will grab the light socket testing cable. And this plugs in from the remote up into the bottom of our light socket tester adapter here. Make sure it's screwed in fully. And so I go ahead and turn it on, and I go ahead and see that I've got my 2 green lights indicating that I did it correctly. And one thing that you can note, might be a little hard to see in this video here, but our light socket tester does have a light that turns on and off with our switch. So students can get that instant feedback to know that, hey, I got my light on here and I can control it with the switch, and it operates just as I would normally expect. That is exercise
Cody,
number
thank
3.
you very much, because that's a great point you bring up, in the sense of a lot of times, sometimes too, is a student would, turn the light switch and say, oh, the light's turned on, so automatically it's working. But with our assessment kit, you can actually go in, and there are times where you can actually have a light be working, but you wired it incorrectly. That could be a safety hazard in the future. Yes, it's working, but it could be something that could be a problem in the future. So you can check and say, oh, yep, the light is on, but maybe I still did something incorrectly. So that assessment kit is very important to be able to show that and to help with that. So, and like you said, that light socket there has a light that turns on and off, and then it also plugs into our assessment kit and be able to do that. So with this is one of those places where we can then share with your students and walk through with your students, like I was talking a little before, is there are 16 different exercises that they can do. This is something they can do individually. They can do in group format with multiple students having to help each other out. It can be something where you can do it virtually, helping out in that world and sharing, or you can do it in the classroom as needed. And it is something where, again, a lot of hands-on opportunities for your students. So all of these components here, the wall panel, the electrical wiring components, and then the assessment kit itself, all come together for a price of $6.99. And then if you want to have extra wall panels, you can buy individual wall panels, extra ones, for $3.29 on top of that. So all of this is there for you to be able to use and use over and over again, repeatedly use, safe and electrical shock free through using it in this way. So with that being said, I want to say thank you, Cody, for taking the time with us to show us those kind of that hands-on and get an understanding and feel of what the kit can do itself. I want to say thank you for taking this time with us and going over this presentation. And if you have more questions, feel free to ask them now, but also you could always get in touch with us if you need. So want to finish with any questions that you may have for us.